support and resistance lines. So a support line is where the price starts falling down and stops at that price point, and very often it bounces back up again. Here's a graph with support and resistance lines. Here's an example. You've got the price coming down and it bounces off of this support price line. And with the resistance, it's where the price stops and reverses. So here's an example of a resistance line where the price goes up, stops and reverses, goes up again, stops and reverses. And very often for a support and a resistance line, you're going to have many different touch points. The more touch points that you have, either as a support or resistance point, then the stronger that this support or resistance is going to be. So the stronger the support is, as soon as if the price breaks through, then the downtrend is going to be very violent. The same with the uptrend. If you've got a very strong resistance and the resistance gets broken, then the price will also grow significantly. Here on TradingView, we've got Ethereum US dollar. I'm going to show you some examples and a very easy tool to use to identify support and resistance lines. Now, just with the chart like that, it might be a bit more difficult to find which price points act as a support. So what I like to do is first of all go on to the highest time frame, as you have a very good overview also of past support and resistance lines, and that can help us guideline. So here's an example. I'm going to take the horizontal line and we're going to draw some support lines where, in my opinion, there's going to be a strong support. So this is a good example. We've got a touch point here, 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 and here, and now we're currently trying to break the $198 resistance, and that was a long time a very strong support also here during the last crash. However, it broke down and we've been growing slightly up, going with higher highs and higher lows, and we're now currently at this very strong resistance, which was previously a support level. Now let's find another one just as an example. So the thing is with this, in my opinion, this could be one. We've got here a very strong, so this would be, in this case, when the price goes up, it turns back down, so this would be a resistance. Here again, you've got a resistance. However, managed to break past on the 18th of November and the price went much higher. And when the downtrend occurred, it bounced back off the $383 price point, and then the price went back up again and it broke down through this support and went back down to bounce off the $196 support. So here's this two examples. Now the thing is with resistance is, as long as the price is reversing and going back down after it reaches a resistance, then you would consider it a resistance. And then as soon as the price breaks past this resistance, is not strong anymore. And then the interesting thing is you can check and see if the price is bouncing off. So in this case it didn't happen, but later on the price, when it came down, it bounced off of the previous resistance, so it becomes support. So when the price breaks through, then you expect this resistance to become support. Now, even though it's important to know how to draw these support and resistance lines, there are also a few tools like pivot points. And the pivot point standard, when you click that, it's gonna draw you different support and resistance lines, and that makes life a lot easier. Now, of course, support and resistance lines are not always straight. They can also be diagonal and so on. They have to at least have 3 touch points, and that might be 3 either opening or closing points of a candle or 3 wicks, and different traders use different strategies to draw the trend lines. Now with this pivot point, we don't need all of these all this information. So we've got the pivot S1. Let's leave S4 and S5 away, and then we've got some pivot points here. And the R is for resistance and the S is for support. Actually, I think I might just keep the S2 just for fun. Alright, now let's draw down to a lower time frame, maybe the 2-hour time frame, and let's see if actually I think the R2 resistance 3 is much, we don't really need that many points, so actually I think I might just remove the R3. This is based on your personal preferences. It's not very important if you've got them all. I just like to have a bit of a cleaner interface, so with less information. That's why I removed the R3 to R5. Now when we open this up a bit, make it a bit bigger, here we can see how the price nicely moves from either a support down to another support, goes sideways and bounces off maybe the previous support and breaks past the pivot point. So when it's above the pivot point, then the trend is bullish. When the price is under the P, the pivot point, then the trend is considered bearish. Now I wouldn't use these pivot points as a main indicator on when to buy or when to sell, but it's nice to see where to have an overview where the price can bounce off. Either as a price can bounce back up, or there might be a possible reversal. So here the price is bouncing along the resistance 1, it breaks through, touches again as a support, and then breaks up past the next resistance without even acknowledging it. So this resistance 2 was not a very strong resistance. So in my opinion, since this was not a very strong resistance, it will also not act as a very strong support when the price breaks back down. So here we've got one pivot point, and that will be 184. So we can hope that for Ethereum, that Ethereum can bounce off the $184 level. Now if it wouldn't break, then since this resistance is not a very strong support, it will probably break back down to the $162 level. However, we'll have to see that. This is just a nice overview of how to quickly put some support and trend lines, and it might give you some more ideas for where you want to draw your trend lines. However, drawing them manually is also very important, and yeah, let's see if we can draw some manually here on this chart. I don't see one right there, maybe with the 4-hour. Alright, I'm trying to see if I can find a nice trend line that I can draw just to show you as an example. I believe this might be one. So we've got one, oh that's the wrong one, that's the wrong one, sorry. We've got the trend line here. Let's select and pull. Yeah, the thing is we've only got 2 touch points, so in my opinion that doesn't really count, since 2 touch points is not enough for a trend line. If we put it on the other side, do we have our 3 touch points? 1. Yeah, here we would have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be a nice trend line as we see. However, without the in my opinion, you might consider that as a channel, since you can duplicate this one and maybe put it below like this. However, this lower one wouldn't be a very strong. You might consider this a channel, and it's moving up past the support and resistance lines, and when it breaks back down. However, I'll be using, like, such a downtrend is very difficult to predict, since you don't really know why it's happening. It just might just be a dump and so on. Yeah, that's about it for the support and resistance lines. I hope you can use them in your trading. I think the most important ones are definitely the ones that you can set manually. when you see there are many touch points, the price bounces off of, and you can use that, since you can expect the price to bounce off of a certain price point when it's got many touch points, or it will stop there if this price line acts as a resistance, and so on. So hope you learned something new today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.